It is 2 o'clock in the morning. You are lying in bed, trying to get a peaceful night of sleep. Suddenly, you feel it. A hot, sharp, agonizing burning sensation rising from the pit of your stomach, creeping up the center of your chest, and pooling in the back of your throat. You taste a bitter, sour, acidic fluid. It makes you cough. It makes you choke. The burning in your chest is so severe that for a terrifying moment, you wonder if you are having a heart attack. You sit up, exhausted and in pain. You walk into your dark kitchen. You open the medicine cabinet, and you reach for your savior. Maybe it is a handful of chalky, fruit-flavored antacid tablets. Maybe it is a heavy, prescription purple pill, a proton pump inhibitor like omeprazole or pantoprazole. You swallow the medicine with a glass of water. Within 30 minutes, the burning subsides. The acid has been neutralized. You go back to sleep, believing that you have cured the problem. You believe that your body simply produces too much acid, and this little pill is protecting your esophagus from melting away. I am here today to deliver a terrifying medical truth that your gastroenterologist is ignoring, and the multi-billion-dollar pharmaceutical digestive industry is praying you never, ever discover. You do not have too much stomach acid. You have dangerously, critically low stomach acid. And the pill you just swallowed to neutralize the pain is actively, chemically orchestrating the complete systemic collapse of your biological machinery. By shutting off your stomach acid, you are paralyzing your ability to extract protein, you are dissolving the calcium out of your skeleton, and you are inviting highly toxic, brain-destroying bacteria to colonize your internal organs. Welcome to Senior Health. I am Dr. Kim. Today, we are embarking on an unprecedented, monumental masterclass. We are going to completely dismantle the greatest, most profitable, and most biologically backward medical lie of the modern era, the acid reflux and antacid scam. We are going to explore the absolute frontiers of modern digestive biochemistry. We will look at exactly what happens inside your stomach when you swallow an acid-blocking pill. We will reveal the terrifying phenomenon of protein starvation and bacterial overgrowth. And, most importantly, we will unlock the profound, ancient wisdom of Korean traditional medicine to explain why your digestive fire is actually dying, and why the food you eat is rotting inside your stomach instead of giving you life. If you take a daily antacid, if you suffer from GERD, or if you live in terror of losing your muscle mass and your memory as you age, you must stay with me. Turn off your television, close your door, and give this massive presentation your absolute, undivided attention. Your life force depends on it. But before we expose the massive antacid disaster, if you are serious about taking complete control of your longevity, click that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. Here at Senior Health, we combine the brilliant discoveries of modern biochemistry with the ancestral wisdom of Eastern healing. I want to know who is joining our community of truth seekers today. Type the number 1 in the comments right now if you are ready to learn the real secret to perfect digestion. Let us begin by understanding the absolute, fundamental mechanical reality of your stomach. The medical establishment treats your digestive tract like a simple plastic tube. They tell you that if acid is splashing up into your esophagus, it must mean the stomach is overflowing with too much acid. This is a biological absurdity. It violates the basic anatomical laws of the human body. At the bottom of your esophagus, right where it meets your stomach, there is a circular muscle called the lower esophageal sphincter, or the LES. This muscle is a highly intelligent, biological valve. Its only job is to open to let food drop into the stomach, and then slam completely shut to prevent anything from splashing back up. So, what tells the valve to close? It is not controlled by your conscious brain. The LES valve is chemically triggered by the pH level, the acidity, of your stomach. Your stomach is designed to be a vat of boiling, highly concentrated hydrochloric acid. On the pH scale, where 7 is neutral water and 1 is battery acid, a healthy senior stomach should be at a pH of 1.5 to 3.0. It should be so acidic that if you dropped a piece of raw meat into it, the meat would dissolve into liquid. When your stomach produces this massive, powerful wave of concentrated acid, the extreme acidity sends a chemical signal to the LES valve. The valve senses the strong acid and instantly, violently clamps shut, sealing the stomach completely. But what happens as you age? What happens when you reach 60, 70, or 80 years old? Through decades of stress, eating processed foods, and the natural biological aging process, the tiny parietal cells inside your stomach lining begin to exhaust themselves. They lose their ability to manufacture strong acid. Your stomach pH rises from a highly acidic 1.5 up to a weak, watery 4.0 or 5.0. Because the acid is now weak, the chemical signal is gone. The LES valve does not sense enough danger. So, the valve stays open. It becomes loose and floppy. Now, when you eat a meal, the food drops into a stomach filled with weak, watery acid. The stomach cannot digest the food quickly. The food sits there. Because the human stomach is a 98.6-degree environment, the undigested food begins to ferment, just like garbage left out in the summer sun. This fermentation produces massive amounts of toxic gas. The gas expands, creating immense pressure in the stomach. Because the LES valve is loose and open, the expanding gas violently forces the weak, watery acid and the rotting food back up into your esophagus. Even though the acid is weak compared to what it should be, your delicate esophagus has zero protective mucus lining. So even a weak acid will burn it like fire. You feel the burn. You go to the doctor. The doctor says, "You have heartburn. Take this pill to reduce your acid." You take the proton pump inhibitor. The drug violently paralyzes the parietal cells. Your stomach acid production drops to absolute zero. The burning stops because there is no acid left to burn you. But you have just committed biological suicide. Let us look at the catastrophic consequences of turning off your stomach acid. Consequence number 1, severe protein starvation and sarcopenia. You are told to eat high-quality protein to maintain your muscle mass as you age. You eat a beautiful, expensive piece of steak or a piece of wild-caught salmon. But meat is incredibly tough. It is made of dense, tightly wound proteins. Your body cannot use a steak. It must break the steak down into microscopic building blocks called amino acids. In order to break down protein, your stomach must activate a powerful enzyme called pepsin. But here is the biological catch. Pepsin is completely inactive, totally useless, until it is exposed to an extremely highly concentrated acid environment. When you take an antacid or a PPI, your stomach is neutral. The pepsin never activates. You chew the steak, you swallow it, and it sits in your neutral, paralyzed stomach. It literally begins to rot. It putrefies. The proteins are never broken down into amino acids. They pass through your digestive tract completely unused. You are eating $100 steaks, but your body is starving to death. Without amino acids, your body cannot maintain your muscle tissue. Your muscles begin to shrink and dissolve. Your legs become weak. This is the rapid acceleration of sarcopenia. You lose your balance. You become frail. Without amino acids, your body cannot produce collagen. Your joints dry up, your skin wrinkles, and your cartilage disintegrates. All because you chemically paralyze the acid required to activate your digestive enzymes. Consequence number 2, the SIBO nightmare and immune collapse. Your stomach acid has a second, incredibly vital, life-saving purpose. It is the primary security gate for your entire immune system. Every time you eat a piece of food, even organic vegetables, it is covered in millions of microscopic bacteria, fungi, and parasites. When you swallow that food, it plunges into the boiling hydrochloric acid of a healthy stomach, and those pathogens are instantly incinerated. Your stomach sterilizes the food to protect the incredibly delicate, highly absorptive environment of your small intestine. When you take an acid-blocking pill, you turn off the security gate. You leave the front door wide open. The bacteria from your mouth and the pathogens from your food survive the stomach. They travel down into your small intestine, an area that is supposed to be completely sterile. They find a warm, dark environment filled with the undigested, rotting food that your stomach failed to break down. It is an all-you-can-eat buffet for toxic bacteria. They begin to multiply aggressively. They colonize your small intestine. This creates a terrifying, systemic condition known as SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. These rogue bacteria feast on your carbohydrates and produce massive amounts of toxic methane and hydrogen gases. Your belly swells up like a balloon after every meal. You suffer from chronic, agonizing bloating, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. Even worse, these bacteria secrete toxic waste products called endotoxins that burn microscopic holes through the lining of your intestines, creating a condition called leaky gut. The toxins spill directly into your bloodstream, causing massive, systemic inflammation that travels straight to your brain, accelerating cognitive decline and dementia. And the neurological horror does not stop there. The cells that make your stomach acid, the parietal cells, have one other critical job. They manufacture a protein called intrinsic factor. Intrinsic factor is the absolute, non-negotiable requirement for your body to absorb vitamin B12. When the purple pill paralyzes your parietal cells, you stop producing intrinsic factor. Your B12 absorption drops to zero. Vitamin B12 is the exact nutrient your brain uses to build the protective myelin sheath around your nerves. Without it, your nerves short-circuit. You develop burning neuropathies in your feet, and your memory physically begins to dissolve. To truly understand the profound tragedy of antacids, we must look beyond Western chemistry and embrace the holistic, deeply energetic wisdom of Korean traditional medicine. Thousands of years before the invention of the purple pill, ancient Eastern medical masters understood the exact physiological origin of heartburn, acid reflux, and bloating. In Eastern medicine, the digestive system is governed by the paired organs of the spleen and the stomach. They operate on a fundamental principle of directional energy. The stomach's energy, its qi, is designed to move strictly downward. It receives the food, ripens it, and sends it down to the intestines. The spleen's energy is designed to move upward. It extracts the pure, clear energy from the food and lifts it up to the heart and the brain to give you life. But what happens when a senior spends a lifetime drinking ice water, eating cold, raw salads, and consuming heavily processed, artificial foods? This extinguishes the digestive fire, what the ancients called the Mingmen fire, or the gate of life. The spleen becomes profoundly cold and exhausted. It loses its ability to transform the food. When the spleen is exhausted, the entire directional flow of the body collapses. Because the food is not being digested, it stagnates in the center. This blockage forces the stomach qi, which is supposed to move downward, to violently reverse direction. This is diagnosed as rebellious stomach qi. The energy rebels. It rushes upward, bringing the sour, undigested fluids and toxic heat into the chest and the throat. This is the exact Eastern energetic description of acid reflux. It is not a condition of too much heat. It is a condition of a profoundly cold, weak center that forces the energy to flow backward in a desperate state of panic. When a Western doctor gives you a cold, chemical antacid to neutralize the heat in your throat, they are committing a catastrophic error in Eastern philosophy. The antacid is an extremely cold substance. When you swallow it, you are literally dumping a bucket of ice water directly onto the last remaining embers of your spleen's digestive fire. You temporarily numb the throat, but you permanently extinguish the Mingmen fire. You ensure that the spleen will never again have the power to transform food into qi and blood. This leads directly to the wasting of the muscles, the hollowing of the bones, and the slow, inevitable decline of the body's vital essence. We must now look at the exact biological mechanisms required to reverse this catastrophic paralysis, to rebuild the boiling acid of your stomach, to slam your esophageal valve shut, and to reignite the ancient spleen fire before your muscle tissue completely wastes away.